becoming more clear by the hour that the US is preparing to enter itself into the growing war between Israel and Iran. Not with just weapons, funding, or surveillance, but with presence, with military bodies, and with blood. And all of this is taking place while Gaza is already buried in rubble and ash, and Palestinian children are being slaughtered in real time. The timing of all of this for me isn't coincidence, it's choreography, because this isn't just war, it's ritual. Empires have always relied on ritual sacrifice in order to maintain control, not in the way that most people imagine, with robes, altars, and ceremonial daggers, but instead with narratives, performance, and blood offerings that are every bit as spiritual. Every time an empire begins to lose its grip, it reaches for the oldest spell in the book: sacrifice life in order to restore power. First, there's the myth. There always has to be a myth. Babylon called it divine right. Rome claimed order and civilization. Britain named it destiny. And America calls it freedom. The myth is the story that makes the violence palatable or even holy. It's what allows bombs to fall on hospitals and schools while politicians speak of protecting democracy. It's what makes people cheer for military action they don't understand as long as it's wrapped in a flag and a Bible verse. Then comes the performance, because all ritual needs an audience. You're met with the cameras, the headlines, and the talking heads parroting all the same phrases on a loop over and over and over again. Deterrence, defense, necessary measures. It becomes a spell of repetition. The more they say it, the more it embeds itself. And the public becomes part of the right, watching, reacting, justifying, echoing. This is how collective consent is manufactured, not by truth, but by spectacle. And finally, you have the offering. And it's never the powerful who pay, of course. Instead, it's the children in Gaza, the families in Tehran, and the civilians in Rafah who were crushed under collapsed buildings. Their bodies are the price. Their blood is the offering. And the war machine, like every other empire before it, feeds off of that loss. In fact, it requires it to continue. Because violence isn't just strategy, it's currency, and empires trade in bodies. They perform this ritual whenever their story starts to crack. They believe fresh blood will seal the fractures, but history is a ledger written in collapse. Babylon believed its rituals could keep Marduk's favor as long as the blood kept flowing. Rome crucified dissenters, believing that fear would keep the empire together. Britain starved colonized nations by the millions under the illusion of progress. Each of them thought that their gods, their myths, and their might would protect them from collapse. But each empire fell the moment its rituals demanded more life than the world was willing to give. Because no empire that builds itself on the bones of children survives. It may take time and it may look unshakable, but the end always comes. And America will be no exception. So when the drums of war start pounding louder and louder, and they will, don't be fooled into thinking this is about strategy or safety or justice or freedom. This is a ritual, a desperate and violent one, and the most radical thing we can do is to refuse to participate in the way that they have designed us to. Refuse to echo their language, refuse to justify what we know is a lie, and refuse to forget who's being sacrificed and for what. Because if the myth is what fuels the war, then the truth is what breaks the spell.